A very good morning, dear students. I'm here with part 1 of chapter 5, that is periodic classification of elements. In this part, we'll study early attempts at the classification of elements, then Dauber-Near triad, then Newland law of octaves, and then Mendeleev periodic table, achievements or advantages of Mendeleev's periodic table, and then limitations of Mendeleev classifications. Right? So let me start the chapter. The matter around us is present in the form of elements, compounds, and mixtures, and the element contains atoms of only one type. With this fact, you all are aware with. Okay. Now, do you know how many atoms are known till the date? At present, total 114 elements are known to us. But around the year 1800, only 30 elements were known. All these elements have different properties. So, as different elements were being discovered, scientists gathered more and more information about the properties and of these elements. They found it very difficult to organize all those elements. Uh, They started looking for some pattern in their properties on the basis of which they could study such a large number of elements with ease. And as I told you, it was difficult to study each element individually, their properties and their characteristics. That is why uh, scientists have classified the elements on the basis of their properties. So, we have been learning how various things or living beings can be classified on the basis of their properties. Even in other situations, we come across instances of organization based on some properties. For example, in a shop, soaps are kept together at one place while biscuits are kept together elsewhere, even among soaps. Bathing soaps are stacked separately from washing soaps. Okay. So similarly, scientists made several attempts to classify elements according to their properties and obtain an orderly arrangement out of the chaos. The earliest attempt to classify the element resulted in grouping then the known elements as metals as non-metals. Okay, see in the starting all the substances are divided into two groups, metals and non-metals. Right? Further classification were tried out as our knowledge of elements and their properties increased. Uh, In short, if I say that all the substances are kept in group to make the study of their characteristic easier. So this classification was on the basis of their properties. The substances having similar properties are grouped together, and the elements or substances having different properties, they are grouped separately, right? At first, in the year 1817, John Wolfgang Daubernier, who was a German chemist, tried to arrange the elements with similar properties into groups. He identified some groups having three elements each. So he called these groups triads because there were only three elements in each group. Daubernier shows that when the three elements in a triad were written in the order of increasing atomic masses, the atomic mass of the middle element was roughly the average of the atomic masses of the other two elements. See, for example, uh, lithium, sodium, and potassium. Their respective masses are 6.9, 23, and 39. Okay, so Daubernier put them in the same group. Now, if you take the atomic mass of lithium 7 and 39 and you add them and then you find out the average, you will get 23. In the same manner, here Ca Sr and Ba. So atomic mass of Sr is average of Ca and Ba. ठीक है. Here there is a group of another three elements Cl, Br and I. The atomic mass of Br is the average of Cl and I. Okay. So this was Triad's law of Doberzheimer. Uh, okay. And one thing also you observe that here substances are kept in increasing order of their atomic masses. Daubernier could identify only three triads from the elements known at that time. Hence, this system of classification into triad was not found to be useful. Okay. The attempt of Daubernier encouraged other scientists also to correlate the properties of elements with their atomic masses. In 1866, John Newland, he was an English scientist, he arranged the known elements in order of increasing their atomic masses. He started with the element having the lowest atomic mass, that was hydrogen, and he ended with thorium. That was the last element at that time. It was known to us, and this was 56th element at that time. So at that time only 56 elements were known to us. And John Newland arranged all the elements from hydrogen to thorium in group. He found that every eighth element had properties similar to that of the first. He compared this to the octave found in music. Therefore, he called it the law of octaves. It is known as Newland's law of octaves. He said the properties of lithium and sodium were found to be the same. Sodium is the eighth element after lithium. Similarly, beryllium and magnesium resemble each other. Here is the part of the original form of Newland's octave. Okay. H L I B E B C N O F N A M G A L S I P and S. This is Newland's octave, and these sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni are notes of music. Okay, and do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti. These are the notes of music. These are in Indian music. Okay, what do you observe over here? You observe that the properties of first elements are same as the properties of eighth element. That is why it is known as law of octave. Okay, he is John Alexander Rana Newland. Newland's octave law had some limitations. Uh, it was found that law of octave was applicable only to the lighter element that have atomic masses up to 40, means up to calcium only, because after calcium every eighth element did not possess properties similar to that of the first. So this was the first limitation of Newland's octave law. Then it was assumed by Newland that only 56 elements existed in nature and no more elements would be discovered in future. But later on several new elements were discovered whose properties did not fit into the law of octaves. In order to fit elements into his table, Newland adjusted two elements in the same slot, but also put unlike elements under the same slot. For example, cobalt and nickel, they are in the same slot, and these are placed in same column as fluorine, chlorine, and bromine are kept. They have very different properties. Cobalt, nickel have very different properties of fluorine, chlorine, and bromine. Okay. On the other hand, iron that resembles cobalt and nickel in properties. It had been placed far away from these elements. In this table, you can see that cobalt and nickel they are kept with H, F, Cl, and Br, right? And cobalt and nickel have different properties from H, F, Cl, and Br. Okay, so this was the limitations in Newland's octave law, right? Okay, the second point is cobalt and nickel have same properties as iron, and you can see that iron is far away from cobalt and nickel. So Newland's law of octave worked well with lighter elements only. It could not work with the heavier elements. Mendeleev periodic table. Even after the rejection of Newland's law of octave, many scientists continue to search for a pattern that correlate the properties of element with their atomic masses. The main credit for classifying element goes to Dmitry Ivanovich Mendeleev, who was a Russian chemist. He was the most important contributor to the early development of a periodic table of elements wherein the elements were arranged on the basis of their fundamental property, that is atomic mass, and also on the similarity of chemical properties. When Mendeleev started his work, 63 elements were known. He examined the relationship between the atomic masses of the elements and their physical and chemical properties. Among the chemical properties, Mendeleev concentrated on the compounds formed by elements with oxygen and hydrogen. He selected hydrogen and oxygen because they are very reactive and they form compounds with most of the elements. The formula of hydride and oxides formed by an element were treated as one of the basic property of an element for its classification. Then Mendeleev took 63 cards, right? And on each card he wrote down the properties of one element. So now he had 63 cards. Now then he sorted out the elements with similar properties and pinned those cards together on a wall. Then he observed that most of the elements got a place in periodic table and they were arranged in the order of their increasing atomic masses. It was also observed that there occurs a periodic recurrence of elements with similar physical and chemical properties. On this basis, Mendeleev formulated a periodic law. That law states that the properties of elements are the periodic function of their atomic masses. This is Mendeleev's periodic table that contains vertebral columns and they are known as groups. These vertical columns are known as groups and the horizontal rows are known as periods. Okay. Mendeleev's periodic table was published in a German journal in 1872. In the formula for oxides and hydrides at the top of the column, the letter R is used to represent any of the element in the group. Here you can see R2O and RH. R2O represents oxide and RH represents hydride. Okay, here the example, if I take the example of carbon, okay, see, this is carbon. So hydride of carbon will be RH4, CH4. Okay, and oxide of carbon RO2, CO2. So this way he presented hydride and oxide of the element. Advantages of Mendeleev's periodic table or achievements of Mendeleev's periodic table. While developing the periodic table, there were a few instances where Mendeleev had to place an element with a slightly greater atomic mass before an element with a slightly lower atomic mass. The sequence was inverted so that elements with similar properties could be grouped together. See, for example, atomic mass of cobalt is 58.9 while atomic mass of nickel is 58.7, but then also nickel is placed before the cobalt. Sorry, cobalt is placed before nickel. See here. Okay. Atomic mass of cobalt is more than the nickel, but then also it is placed before nickel. Right? Further, Mendeleev left some gaps in his periodic table. Instead of looking upon these gaps as defect, Mendeleev boldly predicted the existence of some elements that had not been discovered at that time. He was very confident about the elements that were not found at that time. He said in future these elements will be discovered and they will be placed at the vacant places or in these gaps that he left in his periodic table. And Mendeleev named those elements by prefixing a Sanskrit numeral eka. Eka means one, ek. So he named those elements that was not discovered at that time. Okay. For instance, scandium, gallium, and germanium. These elements were not discovered at that time. These were discovered later, and they have the properties of the elements that were named by Mendeleev as eka boron, eka aluminum, and eka silicon. Right? The properties of eka aluminum predicted by Mendeleev and those of the element gallium which was discovered later and replaced eka aluminum are listed in this table. Eka aluminum atomic mass was predicted 68 by Mendeleev. Okay, and atomic mass of gallium was 69.7 when it was discovered. Formula of eka aluminum was told by Mendeleev E2O3, and when gallium was discovered it was found that oxide of gallium is Ga2O3. Formula of chloride of eka aluminum uh, told by Mendeleev was ECl3, and formula of chloride of gallium is GaCl3, means the prediction of Mendeleev was correct. So all this provided convincing evidence for both the correctness and usefulness of Mendeleev periodic table. Further, it was the extraordinary success of Mendeleev prediction that led chemists not only to accept his periodic table but also recognize him as the originator of the concept on which it is based. Noble gases like helium, neon, and argon have been mentioned in many a context before this. These gases were discovered very late because they are very inert and present in extremely low concentration in atmosphere. So these gases were not known at the time of Mendeleev periodic table. These gases were discovered late, and one of the strengths of Mendeleev's periodic table was that when these gases were discovered, they could be placed in a new group without disturbing the existing order. Mendeleev periodic table had some limitations also. Let us discuss those limitations. Electronic configuration of hydrogen resembles that of alkali metals. Okay, like alkali metals, hydrogen combines with halogens, oxygen, and sulfur and form the compounds having similar formula as shown in the example over here. Okay, see, uh, hydrogen form chloride with chlorine, and hydrogen reacts with oxygen and form oxide. Hydrogen reacts with sulfur and form sulfide in the same manner as sodium is doing with these ClO and sulfur. ठीक है, so this was one point. On the other hand, just like halogen, hydrogen also exists as diatomic molecules and it combines with metals and non-metals to form covalent compounds. Certainly, no fixed position can be given to hydrogen in the periodic table. This was the first limitation of Mendeleev's periodic table. He could not assign a correct position to hydrogen in his table. Okay. Isotopes were discovered long after Mendeleev had proposed his periodic classification of elements. Do you remember what are isotopes? Okay, let me tell you, isotopes of an element have similar chemical properties, but they have different atomic masses. So if they have different atomic masses, they should be allowed different places. But Mendeleev did not allot separate places for isotopes. Okay, so isotopes of all the elements were a challenge to Mendeleev's periodic law. So another problem was that, as I told you, atomic masses do not increase in a regular manner in going from one element to the next. So it was not possible to predict how many elements could be discovered between two elements, especially when we consider the heavier elements. So there were no defined place for isotopes in Mendeleev table. So these were the limitations of Mendeleev table. And today this much was there in this session. Now we'll meet in part 2 of chapter 5. Thank you, students.